Performing arts in your school is where creativity meets courage. Encourage the students in your life to find their voice through the performing arts. This message presented by the NFHS, where we encourage all students to play, perform, and compete together. Everyone has a community, a neighborhood, school, kids' teams, where you worship, work out, or any other place or group where you choose to belong. Communities can provide support when you need it, and even when you don't know you do. Like when it comes to preventing underage drinking and other substance use. Community members can be your eyes and ears when you're not with your kids and alert you to signs of potential problems. Learn more at talkmayhearyou.samhsa.gov.
An ambush in D.C. from Lisa Brady. That's how police are describing an attack on 2 West Virginia National Guard members deployed in the nation's capital. They were shot just blocks from the White House this afternoon.
It appears, like I said, to be a lone gunman that raised a firearm and he ambushed these members of the National Guard, and he was quickly taken into custody by other National Guard members and law enforcement members.
Metro D.C. Police Executive Assistant Chief Jeffrey Carroll says the 2 Guard members are in critical condition. FBI Director Cash Patel asking for prayers.
They're here serving our country. They are here protecting everyday Americans and citizens around the world in our nation's capital. They are the heroes of this day, and we must remember them on this day and every day, and their families and the sacrifice they have made.
The suspect is also hospitalized. National Guard troops from 7 states plus D.C. are deployed in the capital as part of the president's federal crime crackdown. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says at President Trump's request, he's asking the Army Secretary for 500 additional Guard troops in D.C.
The increase in safety and security has been historic. But if criminals want to conduct things like this, violence against America's best, we will never back down. President Trump will never back down. That's why the American people elected him.
Hegseth saying in that video post the shooting only strengthens resolve. The president's in Florida, where he's been briefed on the shooting and posted about it earlier, calling the suspect an animal who would pay a steep price, commending all military and law enforcement personnel. Vice President J.D. Vance offering prayers for those Guard troops and all who wear the uniform.
Thank them for what they're doing. We're grateful to them, and we're praying that they're going to be safe and they're going to spend Thanksgiving with their families. God bless.
This during a visit to Fort Campbell on the Kentucky-Tennessee line, where the second lady and their 3 children helped serve a pre-Thanksgiving meal to the troops. America is listening to Fox News.
Nowhere. Stroke. Super hard, obviously. Family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance. And my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test. Just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos. E-T-H-O-S. Ethos.com/Mike.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then,
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-926-0155. 800-926-0155. Optima Tax Relief. Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
A win for Republicans in North Carolina ahead of next year's midterm elections. A panel of 3 federal judges just ruling the state can use a redrawn congressional map aimed at flipping a seat to Republicans. The same judges previously upheld several other redrawn districts that helped Republicans gain seats last year. The new map takes aim at North Carolina's only swing seat, held by Democratic Congressman Don Davis, who is black. Today's ruling denies preliminary injunctions while the legal fight continues. 4 first responders arrested in Florida and then fired for what police say were crimes against a coworker.
The 4 accused, who have all been EMTs and firefighters in Marion County from 1 to 3 years, wanted a TikTok video from the 19-year-old victim. County Sheriff Billy Wood said the victim wouldn't give them access.
And then took the beating with the belt, took the waterboarding, took the dragging across the parking lot, and still refused to give it up.
The 4 now ex-employees are charged with kidnapping, battery, and robbery. County Fire Chief James Banta said the second a fellow responder was targeted.
These individuals involved in this incident 4
right to wear a uniform.
The victim has not been identified. A criminal investigation continues. Colonel Scott, Fox News.
A dine and dash suspect in New York City might get sent back to Taiwan. Immigration officials may end up deporting 34-year-old wannabe influencer Pei Chung, who's been jailed in New York City since Friday after she allegedly dined and dashed at about a dozen high-end Brooklyn restaurants since October. But that's not actually why ICE is after her. A law enforcement source told the New York Post that Chung came to the U.S. 6 years ago on a student visa, which expired in 2021. Fox's Carmen Roberts, the suspect, also reportedly stopped paying rent more than a year ago and owes her landlord more than $40,000. Lisa Brady, this is Fox News.
The latest news and headlines as late afternoons continue on KFEQ.
I'm Matt Pike. DeKalb County Sheriff's officials have released the identities of the 3 killed in a residential fire in Weatherby earlier this month. Killed in the fire were 36-year-old Mary Justice and her daughter, 8-year-old Millie Krebs. The fire also took the life of 26-year-old Christopher Evans, the boyfriend of Mary Justice. All residents of Weatherby. DeKalb County Sheriff's deputies found the 3 dead inside the residence after responding to the house fire at 190 North Street, Lot 1 in Weatherby on November 20th. A former accountant for the Savannah R3 School District has been sentenced in federal court for stealing money from programs receiving federal funds. 44-year-old Anthony Moon, who worked as the district's accountant for Savannah R3 School District and was also the owner and president of Parker & Associates LLC, was sentenced for theft concerning federal funds and wire fraud and embezzlement from an employee benefit plan from January to November of 2023. Who was sentenced by U.S. District Judge Roseanne A. Ketchmark to a total of 12 months, 1 day in federal prison without parole. The court also ordered Moon to pay restitution of $92,746.99 to the district and $29,695.77 to his 2 employee victims. In addition, the court entered a final order of money judgment and forfeiture of $122,442.76. As you cook all that food this Thanksgiving, there's a good chance your pet gonna want some of it from your guests. Melanie Barnes with Friends of the Animal Shelter says there's a number of things your pet shouldn't eat this Thanksgiving. Best to do your own research. Barnes says, though, best case scenario is don't give your pet any human food.
If you know they're gonna give them their diet and you can't, intervene with your guests, it's probably best to probably create your dog or cat, or we'll put them in a separate room so they don't get put in that situation, because it's kind of natural sometimes for the dog and cat to do that if you haven't trained them otherwise, and so sometimes you can't really put that on them. And then if you I don't know, if Uncle Bob comes over and always takes it off from the table, then you need to put that on. Do something to make sure Uncle Bob doesn't do that.
Barnes says you have to think about it from 3 perspectives. Should they be eating it from a calorie perspective, a health perspective, and a toxicity perspective? Barnes says items like grapes, raisins, onions, and raw items, all sugars can all be toxic to your pet's use around Thanksgiving. Missouri taking the lead in major fight over who controls congressional maps. Matt Pilsner reports.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is spearheading an effort with 21 states, urging the Supreme Court to block a federal ruling that tossed out Texas's congressional map. Hanaway says redistricting should be handled by elected legislatures, not federal judges, and argues the lower court ignored the Supreme Court precedent. Missouri's filing comes as the state defends its own map from outside challenges and warns that activist groups are using racial gerrymandering claims as a political weapon. The brief asks the court to restore constitutional limits and keep election maps in the hands of state lawmakers.
That's news. I'm Matt Pike. These stories and more, stjosephpost.com.
Yeah, military life can have its challenges, but sometimes veteran life brings more. While serving in Iraq, an IED took both my legs, but it didn't take my spirit.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My name is Greg Gatson, 26-year Army veteran.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories great and small.
DAV helps veterans like me get all the benefits they've earned, and that can be a life changer.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Today, I'm an entrepreneur, photographer, and public speaker.
But there's more to be done, and more victories to be won. With the right support, there are no limits.
My victory is just being the best that I can be.
Greg Gatson, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Do you know a veteran in need? After leaving the military, many veterans struggle to find their way home. Because to a veteran, home isn't just a place, it's an idea, a feeling. Nation's Finest understands the challenges veterans face. Through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, we help veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada. For more than 50 years, we've helped thousands of veterans in these communities live happy, healthy, and purposeful lives. And our team is committed to supporting those who've served and their families for another 50. To get help, visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
Late afternoons continue on 680 KFEQ and 95.3 FM St. Joe. Now here's your Ag News.
With Ag News, I'm Nathan Steedley. For the 8th time this year, the overall rural Main Street Index sank below a gross neutral score of 50. That coming from the monthly survey of bank CEOs in rural areas of a 10-state region dependent on agriculture and energy. The region's overall reading was 34.6 in October, the lowest level since May of 2020. That's down from 38.5 in September. Weak agriculture commodity prices for grain producers continue to dampen economic activity in the 10-state region, said Ernie Goss of Creighton University. While tariffs are producing higher economic volatility, 72% of bank CEOs say President Trump's approach toward Chinese trade is about right. For the 17th time in the past 18 months, farmland prices slumped below gross neutral. The region's farmland price index dropped to 37 from 45.8 in September. Farm loan delinquency rates rose from a very low 1.1% in June of this year to 1.6% in October. Data from the USDA said that inspections of soybeans and corn for offshore delivery declined week to week, while wheat assessments increased during the week ending on November 20th. Soybean inspections were reported